The ground shakes before the alarm even finishes its first cry. I feel it in my claws first, a deep tremor rolling through the metal floor, and I know what it means before anyone tells me. Something is breaking through the outer wall of the outpost, and my human is still asleep 2 corridors away. I am small. I am fast. I move. My name does not matter to you, because you cannot pronounce it, but the human who found me calls me Ember, and that name is the only one I have ever wanted. Ember, because of the orange glow under my scales when I am afraid, and tonight, running through the shaking halls, I am glowing so bright I light up the walls like a torch. I remember the night she found me. I was smaller than her hand, half buried under broken rock after a mining collapse on the ridge outside the colony wall, and I was dying. My kind does not usually survive that kind of cold. But she was walking back from a supply run, tired, covered in dust, carrying a pack heavier than she was supposed to carry alone, and she stopped. She did not have to stop. Nobody would have blamed her for walking past a strange creature buried in rubble on a planet that was not kind to strangers. She dug me out with her bare hands. She gave me half of her ration bar that night, even though the colony had already cut rations twice that month. She did not tell anyone. She just fed me, wrapped me in her jacket, and let me sleep against her chest so I would not freeze. I did not understand kindness then. I understand it now, because she taught it to me, one small piece of food at a time. That is why, every night since then, I save the best part of my meal. Not because I am hungry later, not because my body tells me to. I save it because somewhere inside me, in the part of my mind that is not quite animal, and not quite anything else, I learned that this is what you do for someone you love. You keep something good, something precious, and you wait for the moment they need it most. Tonight, I think that moment has come. The corridor floor cracks beneath my feet as I run. Sparks fall from a broken light fixture above me, and somewhere behind the wall, metal groans like something enormous is trying to force its way inside. The colony sits on the edge of a mineral field that other species want badly, and tonight, it seems, they have decided asking nicely is over. I reach her door and slam my head against the release panel until it slides open. She is already awake, pulling on her boots, her face pale but steady. Her name is Marissa, and she has always been the kind of steady that makes other people feel calm even when the world is falling apart around them. Tonight, her hands are shaking anyway, just slightly, because the alarm klaxon means the shield generator has failed, and without it, the outer wall will not hold. Ember, she says, breathless, you should be hiding. I am not going to hide. I climb up onto her shoulder, the way I always do, wrapping my tail around her arm, and she does not argue with me, because she never has time to argue with me, and because some small part of her has always known I will not leave her. We run together through the collapsing outpost. Dust falls from the ceiling. Somewhere far off, I hear the deep boom of the enemy ship's cannons striking the shield dome, weakening it with every hit. The other colonists are running too, toward the underground shelter, but Marissa is not running toward the shelter. She is running toward the generator room. It's my job, she says, when I hiss at her to turn around. If I don't restart it, nobody gets to the shelter in time. This is the kind of thing humans do that I still do not fully understand. She is not the strongest fighter in the colony. She is not the fastest. She is an engineer, tired and thin from months of short rations, and she is running toward the danger instead of away from it because somebody has to, and she has decided that somebody is her. The generator room is worse than I feared. Smoke curls from a burst coolant line, and half the control panel is sparking uselessly. Marissa drops to her knees in front of it, already pulling tools from her belt, her fingers moving fast even though her whole body is shaking now, not just her hands. I need power, she mutters. I need actual power, not this dying trickle. The backup cell is empty. I can see it from here. A small dark socket where a battery should be glowing blue, and is instead glowing nothing at all. Without that cell, the shield will not restart in time. Without the shield, the wall will not hold. Without the wall, everyone in the underground shelter, every single person who trusted this colony to protect them, will be in the open when the enemy ship finishes tearing through. I think of every night for the last 2 years, every time I hid a piece of food instead of eating it. Every time she asked me why I was carrying scraps around instead of finishing my meal, and I had no way to explain, because I did not fully understand it myself. I understand it now. I dive into the narrow gap behind the wall panel, where I have been hiding things since the day I was old enough to carry objects in my jaws. It is dark and tight and smells like rust, and buried under old cloth and bits of food I never ate, I find it. The small emergency power cell I found abandoned near the mining ridge months ago, the one nobody wanted, the one I dragged back here piece by piece, because some instinct told me it was valuable and I should keep it safe. I did not save food every night because I was hoarding scraps. I was practicing. I was learning, without knowing I was learning, that the things you love the most deserve to have something kept back for them, something ready, something waiting for the exact moment they need it. I drag the cell out with my teeth, ignoring the sharp edges cutting my mouth, and I half run, half fly across the room to Marissa, dropping it into her open hands. She stares at it for 1 full second, like she cannot believe what she is looking at. "Ember," she breathes. "Where did you even—" She does not finish the question. There is no time. She slots the cell into the socket, and the panel flickers, sputters, and then roars to life, with a hum that vibrates through the floor beneath us. Lights snap back on down the corridor. Somewhere above us, through layers of metal and rock, I hear the shield dome reactivate with a deep electric thrum, humming back into shape, just as another cannon blast strikes it from outside. The wall holds. I hear it hold. I feel the tremor stop. Marissa sits back on the floor, breathing hard, sweat and dust streaked across her face, and she starts to laugh, the kind of laugh that comes out when someone has been too scared to cry, and the fear finally has somewhere to go. "You saved us," she says, staring at me like she is seeing me for the first time, even though we have slept curled together every night for 2 years. "You actually saved us." I climb into her lap, tired now that the danger has passed, my glow finally dimming from bright orange back down to a soft, steady gold. Outside, through the reinforced window, I can see the enemy ship pulling back, unable to break through a shield that came alive again exactly when it needed to. Colonists are coming out of the shelter, confused, checking on each other, realizing that somehow, against every reasonable expectation, the outpost held. Later, when the corridors are quiet again and most of the colony is finally asleep, Marissa carries me back to our room and sets me down on the blanket beside her bed, the same blanket she wrapped me in the very first night we met. "You've been hiding things back there for months," she says softly, still amazed. "I thought you were just being a strange little creature. I never once thought you were keeping something safe for me." I press my head against her hand, and she scratches gently behind the ridge of scales along my neck, the way she has done every night since I was small enough to fit inside her jacket pocket. I do not have the words to tell her what I have finally understood tonight, that every scrap of food I saved, every small object I hid away in the dark behind that wall, was never really about the food or the objects at all. It was about learning, slowly, the way she once taught me warmth and safety and trust, that love is not just a feeling you carry inside you. Love is something you keep ready, something you hold back, quietly, night after night, so that when the person you care about needs it most, you already have exactly what they need, waiting for you to give it. She saved my life once, without hesitation, without asking anything in return. Tonight, I finally got to save hers. And as she falls asleep with her hand resting against my back, I curl closer, glowing soft and warm in the dark, already thinking about tomorrow night, and the next piece of food I will quietly save, just in case she ever needs it again.